Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be looking at another exciting new GX Pokemon. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's a free video day, which I don't do very often. But, you know, I did miss a couple of 2 video days when I was over in Australia. And, of course, there's 2 GXs coming out today. Well, I'm not going to make you wait for either of those. And we had exclusive translations of the Pikachu and Mimikyu. And I'm not going to make you wait for either of those. So, sorry, it has to be a free video day. And it's kind of fitting that as we looked at Xerneas GX earlier today, we're going to be looking at Yveltal GX right now. And of course, Yveltal, little bit of history of being quite good. We had Yveltal EX, which was so good, it was the entire top 4 at the first ever International Championships in London in 2016. We, of course, had the non-GX, or baby Yveltal, hey Nick, which helped set up with Oblivion Wing. And then later on, we had the Fright Knight Yveltal, which was, again, a really good Pokemon with both the Fright Knight ability and the Pitch Black Spear attack. Yveltal, history of being good, can the GX keep up? Well, let's have a look-see, shall we? Being a Darkness Pokemon is quite good because you have either Reverse Valley or Devoured Field to allow you to do an extra 10 damage. I'll let you choose whichever one you want. And of course, you've got the aforementioned Yveltal to help you set up, get a bit of extra energy on there, which is all nice and good. You're not hitting weakness against very much, maybe Dawnwing's Necrozma if it gets quite good, but that really is about it. In terms of weakness, you're weak to lightning, which really isn't that bad. There's just not many good lightning Pokemon around at the moment. There is Tapu Koko, the promo, but even with a choice band, that's only doing 100 and getting a 2-hit KO. All in all, could be an awful lot worse. Not a bad weakness at all. In terms of resistance here, you do have resistance to fighting, which with Buzzwole running around at the moment, really is quite a nice advantage to have. Retreat cost of 2, not good, as we always say. An HP of 180, it's fine. It's about standard. It is 10 HP more than Yveltal EX, but for terms of, you know, these basic EXs and GXs, 180 is just about standard. But as with all of these Pokemon, it really is the attack that's going to make or break this. Unlike most GXs, we have free attacks or abilities. In this case, we've got 3 attacks. First attack for a single Darkness Energy, 20 damage. Heal as much damage from this Pokemon as you dealt. It's not bad. We've seen this with Pokemon like Torterra, for instance, and it could be pretty good. The key with a Pokemon like this, with an attack like this, is doing as much damage as you possibly can. And actually here, you're not doing too bad at all. Now the 20 base is a little bit low, I'll grant you. But then you add a choice band, assuming you're hitting an EX or a GX Pokemon. Now you're up to 50. Then, of course, you add Devoured Field or Reverse Valley. It really doesn't matter which one you do. And now you're up to 60. You could even add a Professor Kukui to go up to 80, although, of course, that's not going to be something you're going to be able to do every turn. And this isn't a big one-hit KO attack. This isn't something like Torterra that could potentially, with a nut setup, use Giga Drain to completely heal itself while taking big KOs. But what it will do is get some damage on the field, do a little bit of damage, soften some Pokemon up for KOs while doing a bunch of healing. It's not like Torterra. It's not going to sit there and perfectly heal while taking one-hit KOs, even with the best setup imaginable. But for a single energy, and the thing is, oftentimes there'll be something like a Tapu Koko doing 40 damage, so then being able to heal most or all of that off while getting a bit of damage on the field, quite frankly, is not too bad at all. I quite like the first attack. It's not stunning. It's very much a starter attack. But it's not bad at all. It's just a bit of a shame that really you're doing about 60 damage maximum. Or 120 if you're hitting for weakness, but like I previously said, you're not really hitting much for weakness here, which is a little bit sad, but hey ho. The second attack here for free colorless energy, 100 damage, not affected by weakness or resistance. This is both good and bad. The first thing to mention here, it's for colorless energy and you can use double colorless. That means that if you want a darkness type Pokemon that hits for decent damage for colorless energy, here you go, here's Yveltal. Wait a second, you're not hitting for weakness. If this did hit for weakness, I would be absolutely loving it. As I've said before, one of the main questions I get quite a lot is, I need a blank type Pokemon to put in my deck that attacks for colorless energy, what do I use? Well, if this hit for weakness, this would be the perfect basic Pokemon, colorless energy, hitting for darkness weakness Pokemon. But you're not hitting for weakness here. You're hitting 100 whether the Pokemon's weak or not. That really hurts. It would be an incredibly great darkness type tech if it hit for weakness, but it doesn't. Now, the not hitting for resistance is pretty nice. Let's take something like a Xerneas GX that we looked at earlier today. Generally speaking, you'd hit for 100, but with resistance it would only be 80. You do that twice, you wouldn't actually get a KO. So as it is, hitting through resistance here means you will get a 2-hit KO on Xerneas, whereas otherwise you wouldn't. Love the goes through resistance, but the not hitting for weakness really hurts. This could be a brilliant splashable darkness type attacker in any deck you like, but the fact that it doesn't hit for weakness means that it isn't, and that sucks. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But just like with Xerneas earlier today, the first two attacks are fairly underwhelming, and then you get to the GX attack, and just like we said with Xerneas earlier today, I really, really like this GX attack here. Like, really like it. Now, there is a little bit of confusion as to the exact translation, more on that in a moment, but as far as we can tell, it says, for a single darkness type energy, if your opponent's active Pokemon has exactly 4 damage counters on it, it is knocked out. Now, it doesn't do anything if they don't. If they don't have 4 damage counters on, it does nothing. But they've got 4 damage counters on, instant KO. On absolutely anything. 250 HP Metagross GX? Not a problem. 1-hit KO. 230 HP Gardevoir GX with a resistance to darkness? Automatic 1-hit KO. As a side note, with a choice band, the second attack will 2-hit KO Gardevoir because it goes through resistance, whereas usually it wouldn't be able to because of resistance. Then again, if you put free energy on an Yveltal, that's really going to make Gardevoir have a bit of a field day because 2 energy and a choice band now get a 1-hit KO. I would not recommend trying to 2-hit KO a Gardevoir with this Yveltal. There we go. I said it. Now the confusion comes in because it might be if the defending Pokemon has at least 4 damage counters. Now, the translation we have at the moment is from Rappelmann TCG, the lovely David Hockman himself, and he has compared it to the Creepshow Gengar, and he has seen that the Creepshow Gengar specifically says at least 4 damage count, or for that one at least 3 damage counters, whereas this one does seem to say exactly 4 damage counters. Similarly, the lovely Autobot Tesla over on Twitter also seems to think it's exactly 4 damage counters, so for the moment, it seems like it needs to be exactly 4. Obviously, if it was at least 4 damage counters, then it would be much, much easier to use. Now it's a little bit specific, but here's the deal. It's a basic Pokemon, and this attack is for a single energy, which means you can use Rainbow Energy here, which will be quite easy, and it means it's quite easy to tech it into any other deck. And it's 4 damage counters. If you're playing a Decidueye deck, you just do 2 Feather Arrows, and then you get an instant 1-hit KO. Tapu Koko here, instant 1-hit KO. I like this. The thing that annoys me a teensy bit is that Yveltal's first attack does 20, with a Devoured Field it does 30. You would need to use a Professor Kukui to put it up to 40, which makes it a little bit clunkier than I would like. But getting an instant KO on any Pokemon that's got 4 damage counters on, this is really good. We've all seen games lately where there's a big Pokemon that's just too difficult for one player to KO. Well, this solves that problem immediately. Yeah, the having to get exactly 4 damage counters on there is a little bit annoying, but there's plenty of ways you can do that. Whether it's 2 hits from Yveltal's first attack, whether it's using a Professor Kukui, whether it's spreading damage with Tapu Koko, there's always ways to get them on. And then it's an easy KO. I'm not a huge fan of the first attack, although I do think that with the healing it could be fun. The second attack I think is generally a little bit rubbish, but I adore this GX attack. I think about this very much like I think about Xerneas GX with my review earlier. First attack, alright, could be useful. Second attack, doesn't do enough damage, too much energy, not particularly great. GX attack, it's a basic Pokemon worth teching in. And I cannot stress this enough, it's a single energy attack on a basic Pokemon. That makes it techable, and that means it is definitely worth going for. I mean, if you end up playing a Decidueye deck in the future, are you really not going to try and play this? Because with something like Decidueye, this is over the top good. Okay, maybe if you're playing a Zoroark GX deck, you don't want to play it, because you're not playing any Darkness Energy. But in any deck where you can play Darkness Energy or Rainbow Energy, unless you've got a GX attack that you're desperate to use, this has got to be something you're considering. I know the first attack is okay, and the second attack is pretty bad, but we've got a great GX attack here, which is extremely techable. And for that reason, I'm giving this card 4 Wassies. Yes, both this and Xerneas as a whole are underwhelming cards. But in terms of the GX attack here, I don't think it's underwhelming at all. I think it's pretty gosh darn good. But as with all of these, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to hear from you guys, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus pods and so on, you can do so over at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.